Most people have never heard of Zanzibar, but anyone who knows this small island in the Indian Ocean can never forget it. It was here that the shortest war in world history took place. A legendary rock singer was born here, and it was from here that the spices that changed the taste of the whole world came from. Want to know more? Today, Bello Mundo will take you to discover the secrets of one of Africa's most unknown and fascinating archipelagos, Zanzibar. Number 1. Location and geographical data. Zanzibar is not exactly a country. Many people confuse it, but the place is actually a semi-autonomous archipelago that is part of Tanzania. It lies in the Indian Ocean, just 25 kilometers off the east coast of Africa, so close to the mainland that on clear days you can almost see the mainland on the other side. The archipelago consists of 2 main islands, Unguja, which everyone simply calls Zanzibar, and Pemba, as well as dozens of smaller islets scattered across crystal-clear blue-green waters. Unguja is the largest and best known. It covers 660 square miles, almost the size of Los Angeles. But what it lacks in size, it makes up for in beauty. This small island is home to some of the most beautiful scenery on the planet. It is a place where you can find white sandy beaches, calm and crystal-clear seas, tropical forests, spice plantations, and an ancient city that is considered a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The climate is tropical all year round, with 2 distinct seasons. From December to March is the dry season, with strong sunshine and heat, ideal for those who want to enjoy the beach. From April to November, the rains arrive, but even so, temperatures remain pleasant, ranging between 25 and 30 degrees Celsius. And there's an interesting detail. Zanzibar is located almost on the equator, which would give the impression of suffocating heat. But in practice, this is not the case. The proximity to the sea and the constant breeze help to cool the air, making the climate lighter than many people imagine. It's the kind of place that seems tailor-made for those seeking natural beauty, tranquility, and a good story to tell. Number 2. History. For centuries, Zanzibar was one of the most important trading centers in the Indian Ocean. Arabs, Persians, Indians, Europeans all passed through these waters, all with their eyes on the island's most valuable resources: spices, ivory, gold, and in one of the saddest chapters of history, people. Slavery was part of Zanzibar's reality for a long time. In the 16th century, the Portuguese were the first to arrive. They took control of the island and established trading posts. But European rule did not last long. At the end of the 17th century, Arabs from Oman arrived in force, expelled the Portuguese, and transformed Zanzibar into a commercial powerhouse. That was when the island began to change forever, to grow, but also to bear deep wounds. It is at this stage that Zanzibar's past becomes heavier. The island became the largest slave market in East Africa. In the 19th century alone, more than 600,000 people were sold here, a number that is difficult to even imagine. The slave trade was organized, lucrative, and ruthless. Part of the landscape that today enchants tourists was once a scene of pain for thousands of people who passed through here in chains. But while this was happening, the island was also accumulating power. In 1840, the Sultan of Oman, Said bin Sultan, did something unprecedented. He transferred the capital of the Arab Empire, which was located on the Arabian Peninsula, directly to Zanzibar. In other words, an African island became the political and economic center of the empire. The economy boomed. The clove trade became the mainstay. And we'll come back to that in a moment, because that's how Zanzibar earned its nickname, Spice Island. There was so much wealth circulating that, at that time, the island's palaces already had running water and electricity, long before many European cities had even thought of such things. But history kept turning. In 1890, Zanzibar became a British protectorate. The sultans remained as symbolic figures in power, but it was the British who were really in charge. The island was now part of a new geopolitical chessboard, and it was in this context that an unusual event took place, the shortest war in history. 38 minutes. That's right. A new sultan took the throne without British approval. They responded by bombing the palace. In less than an hour, everything was settled. The episode went down in history as the shortest war ever recorded. Zanzibar remained under British rule until 1963, when it finally gained independence. But there was no time to catch their breath. In early 1964, the Zanzibar Revolution took over the streets. The majority of the population, of African origin and historically marginalized, rebelled against the Arab elite that controlled the government. It was violent, it was fast, and it changed everything. In an attempt to stabilize the country, Zanzibar joined its mainland neighbor, Tanganyika. From this union, Tanzania was born. The name itself is a combination of Tanganyika and Zanzibar. Today, Zanzibar remains part of Tanzania, but with its own government, culture, and an identity that is unlike any other place in the world. Number 3. The Spice Island. Zanzibar did not earn this nickname by chance. For centuries, these islands were the world's leading supplier of cloves, nutmeg, cinnamon, cardamom, and black pepper. Cloves in particular made Zanzibar the richest place per capita in the world in the 19th century. To give you an idea, during the reign of Sultan Said, Zanzibar produced 4/5 of all the cloves consumed on the planet. Today, you can visit spice farms where local guides show you how these plants, once worth more than gold, are grown. It's an incredible sensory experience. You touch, smell, and taste spices straight from the plant. Fun fact, cloves aren't even native to Zanzibar. The seedlings were brought from the Malacca Islands in Indonesia in the 18th century. But they adapted so well to the local climate and soil that Zanzibar became the world's largest producer. During the farm tour, the guides give incredible demonstrations. They pick a lemongrass leaf, rub it between their hands, and release a citrus scent that fills the air. They do the same with cinnamon, ginger, vanilla, and dozens of other plants. The most impressive thing is discovering that many of the trees you see are actually giant vines. Black pepper, for example, grows attached to the trunks of other trees, forming green curtains several meters high. Number 4. Population and languages. And if the history here is full of encounters, migrations, and exchanges, this becomes even clearer when we look at who lives here today. Most of the population is African, descended from the Bantu peoples who have been on these islands for a very, very long time. But, of course, the Arab traders who came from Oman also left a strong mark, not only in architecture or religion, but in families, customs, and ways of life. And in the midst of all this cross-fertilization, there are also Indian and Persian communities, and even some Europeans who have stayed here over the centuries. This mixture has become something unique, the Swahili culture. And look, it shows up in everything, in the food, the clothes, the music, and especially in the language. Swahili is the main language here, and it alone tells the story of this place. The base is African, from the Bantu languages, but more than 35% of the vocabulary comes from Arabic. And in the middle of it all, there are even words in Portuguese, Hindi, and even English. It is literally a language that carries centuries of exchanges, travels, and encounters. And if the language already reveals so much about this mix, just wait and see how it appears in everyday culture. Number 5. Culture. And this mix is also in the music. The best example is Tarab, a style that combines Arabic poetry, African rhythms, and Indian instruments. And there's another curious detail. The lyrics often have double meanings. There are songs that talk about love and take a jab at politics at the same time. In fact, the way people interact here also says a lot about this culture. There's no such thing as just saying hi and walking away. When you meet someone, you ask about their family, work, health, and it can easily take 10 minutes of conversation just to say hello properly. It's part of the way they value relationships, because for them, people always come first, and traditions remain strong. Before weddings, for example, there is the henna party, where women paint the bride's hands and feet with henna designs. And it's not just anything. There are artists who make designs so detailed that they look like lace. It's impressive. And of course, you can't talk about tradition without talking about the sea. Because even today, there are fishermen who go out to work using the same boats their ancestors used hundreds of years ago, Dows. Number 6. The Dow culture. Dows are traditional boats with triangular sails that have been crossing the Indian Ocean for over 1,000 years. And in Zanzibar, they are still part of everyday life, whether for fishing, transport between islands, or even tourist trips. The most curious thing is how these boats are built. There are no plans, rulers, or technical designs. Everything is done by eye, based on experience passed down from generation to generation. The builders, called Malamu, do everything in their heads. The size of the wood, the curvature of the hull, how the pieces fit together. And they even know how the boat will behave when the sea gets rough. It's like ancient engineering that has worked in practice for centuries. And check out this detail. The most traditional models don't use nails. Everything is assembled with wooden joints and ropes made from coconut fiber. The result is a more flexible, lighter boat that is resistant to waves. And it's not just to keep up the tradition. Between June and September, when the winds blow strongest, you can still see these boats arriving from places like India, Pakistan, and Iran, carrying goods, just as they did centuries ago. Number 7. Stone Town. If there is one place that embodies the soul of Zanzibar, it is Stone Town. The city lies right by the sea, with its narrow streets, houses made of coral and lime, Arab palaces, mosques, Hindu temples, and bazaars that seem to have stopped in time. It is the heart of the archipelago, and you can feel it on every corner. The architecture is something you won't see anywhere else in the world. A mix of Arabic, Persian, Indian, and European influences form what scholars call Swahili architecture. And perhaps the most striking detail is the doors. Yes, the doors. Some are up to 3 meters high and have hundreds of hand-carved intricacies. Each design has a meaning. And the more ornate the door, the more important the family that lived there. Some houses seem to tell their own story just by their entrance. Stone Town is also the birthplace of a world music legend, Freddie Mercury, the lead singer of Queen. He was born there in 1946, named Farrokh Bulsara, the son of Indian parents who worked for the British government. The house where he lived has been turned into a boutique hotel and is a must-see for fans from all over the world. There is even a statue at the door of the Mercury House Hotel. Another place worth visiting is the Darajani Market. There you will find spices with smells that fill entire blocks, fruits with shapes that don't even look real, freshly caught fish, colorful fabrics, carved wood, jewelry, drums. In short, everything. It's noisy, confusing, and completely addictive. But of course, this city is not the only attraction. Number 8. Unique attractions. Zanzibar has attractions that you won't find anywhere else in the world, and the coolest thing is that each one has its own story. A few minutes by boat from Stone Town is Prison Island. The name is scary, but the island was never actually a prison. That was the idea, but it ended up becoming a quarantine station for cases of yellow fever. Today, the place is known for the giant Aldabra tortoises that roam freely there. Some are over 100 years old. The most famous, called MZ, lived to be 196. Yes, 196. And you can feed them leaves, slowly, in peace. Want something even more out of the ordinary? How about sleeping underwater? In the north of the island is Africa's only underwater hotel, the Manta Resort. The room is 4 meters deep with windows on all sides. At night, you sleep surrounded by fish, octopuses, rays, and sometimes even a curious shark swimming slowly by. There are 3 levels: a deck on the surface, an area at sea level, and the underwater room, an otherworldly experience. In Kizimkazi, in the south of the island, something rare happens. You can swim with wild dolphins in the open sea. They live there all year round, and as they are already accustomed to human presence, they come very close, curious, free, light, and loose. It is one of the few places in the world where this still happens naturally. But there is one detail that many people don't know, and it may surprise you. The tides in Zanzibar are extreme. There are times when the beach disappears. Literally. At low tide, the sea recedes so far that you have to walk almost a kilometer to find water at waist height. Everything is exposed: endless white sand, corals, pools of water with small fish, giant starfish, octopuses hidden among the rocks. It looks like another planet. Number 9. Gastronomy. And to finish off this tour, we obviously couldn't leave out food. After all, with such a wealth of spices and mix of peoples, it's not hard to imagine that Zanzibar's cuisine is spectacular. And it really is. The local food blends African, Arabic, and Indian flavors in a unique way. It's the kind of cuisine that has history in every bite and surprises you even in the simplest recipes. One of the most famous dishes is Zanzibar biryani, a fragrant, spicy rice dish that can be served with goat, chicken, or fish. The secret is in the preparation. The rice is cooked with coconut milk, saffron, and a blend of spices that each family guards like gold. Another dish worth trying is urojo, a hearty, spicy soup made with lentils, sweet potatoes, cassava, and a well-seasoned broth. It is usually served for breakfast and costs less than $1. Simple, cheap, and tastes like real food. Walking through the streets of Stone Town, you will come across the smell of makate wa nazi, a sweet bread made with coconut milk and baked in clay ovens. The aroma spreads through the streets and is hard to resist. If you see smoke coming out, it's ready. Among these fruits, one stands out: jackfruit. Huge and heavy, it can weigh up to 40 kilos. When ripe, it gives off such a strong smell that it is banned in some hotels. But the taste is a crazy and delicious mix of banana, mango, and bubblegum. It may seem strange at first bite, but it's the kind of thing you won't forget. Just like the country, the people, and the culture, even the fruit is different and made to surprise. And that's it for today. Did you already know these interesting facts about Zanzibar? Which one caught your attention the most? the fact that Freddie Mercury was born there, the extreme tides that make the sea disappear, or the Dows built without a single nail? Tell us in the comments what surprised you most on this trip through the Spice Islands. And if you enjoyed getting to know this place, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell, because Bello Mundo still has many incredible destinations to explore with you. Until the next adventure,